wonderful story explorers, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into an incredible Bible story about one of the strongest men who ever lived. His name was Samson, and his story is a powerful lesson about strength, secrets, and listening to God. Are you ready? Let's begin. A very long time ago, in the land of Israel, there lived a special man named Samson. Even before he was born, an angel appeared to his parents and told them their son would be a Nazarene, someone set apart for God. This meant he had to follow 3 special rules. He couldn't drink wine. He couldn't touch anything that was dead. And most importantly, he was never, ever to cut his hair. As long as he kept these promises, God would give him supernatural strength to protect his people, the Israelites, from their enemies, the Philistines. And wow, was Samson strong. He grew up, and his hair grew long, and his strength became legendary. One time, a young lion roared and leaped out at him, but Samson, with the power God gave him, tore it apart with his bare hands. Can you imagine that? Another time, the Philistines tied him up with new ropes, thinking they had finally captured him. But when they shouted in victory, the Spirit of the Lord came upon Samson, and he snapped the ropes as if they were threads burned in a fire. He then used a simple donkey as jawbone he found on the ground to single-handedly defeat 1,000 Philistine soldiers. Samson was a superhero for his people. He was so strong. He even tore the gates of a whole city right off their hinges and carried them up a hill. Nobody could stand against his incredible might. But Samson had a weakness, and it wasn't a piece of kryptonite. His weakness was that he didn't always make the wisest choices, especially when it came to his heart. One day, Samson traveled to a place called the Valley of Sorek, and there he met a woman named Delilah. Samson fell deeply in love with her. The rulers of the Philistines saw this as their chance. They were terrified of Samson and desperate to find out the secret to his great strength. So they went to Delilah and made her a sneaky offer. They said, "Find out the secret of Samson's strength, and we will each give you 1,100 pieces of silver." That was a huge amount of money, more than most people would see in a lifetime. Delilah, who cared more about the money than she did about Samson, agreed to their wicked plan. So, Delilah began to ask Samson, "Please tell me, my love, what makes you so strong? How could someone tie you up and make you as weak as any other man?" Samson, wanting to play a game, decided to tease her. "If they tie me up with 7 fresh bowstrings that have never been dried," he said, "I will become as weak as anyone else." So, while Samson was asleep, Delilah had Philistine soldiers hide in the room. She tied him up with 7 fresh bowstrings and then shouted, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." Samson woke up and snapped. He broke the bowstrings as easily as a single thread. The secret was still safe. Delilah was not happy. She pouted and said, "You've made fun of me and told me a lie. Now, please, tell me the real secret." Samson replied, "Okay, if they tie me securely with brand new ropes that have never been used, then I'll be weak." So again, Delilah waited for Samson to sleep. She tied him with new ropes, with the soldiers hiding nearby. She cried out, "Samson, the Philistines are here!" And again, Samson woke up and broke the ropes off his arms, like they were nothing more than thin strands of yarn. Delilah was getting frustrated. "You're still not telling me the truth," she complained, day after day. "How can you say you love me if you won't share your secret with me?" "This time," Samson said, "if you weave the 7 braids of my hair into the loom and tighten it with a pin, I will become weak." Delilah must have thought she finally had the secret. While he slept, she carefully wove his long hair into a weaver's loom. Then she yelled, "Samson! The Philistines are upon you!" But Samson just woke up, pulled his hair free, and yanked the entire loom out of the ground with it. Now Delilah was truly upset. She nagged him and pleaded with him every single day. She gave him no peace, constantly asking for his secret. Finally, Samson was so tired and worn out from her constant questioning that he couldn't take it anymore. He gave in. He forgot that his strength came from his promise to God, not just his hair. He told her everything. "My hair has never been cut," he confessed. "I have been a Nazirite dedicated to God since the day I was born. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me, and I would become as weak as any other man." This time, Delilah knew he was telling the truth. She sent a message to the Philistine rulers. "Come back one more time. He has told me everything." They came, bringing the silver with them. That evening, Delilah let Samson fall asleep with his head on her lap. Then she called in a man to shave off the 7 long braids of his hair. As the hair fell to the floor, Samson's strength began to drain away. Delilah then shouted the familiar words, "Samson, the Philistines are upon you." Samson woke up and thought, "I'll go out as I did before and shake myself free." But he did not know that the Lord had left him. Because he had broken his special promise to God, his supernatural strength was gone. This time, when the Philistines seized him, he couldn't fight back. They captured him, and to be sure he could never threaten them again, they blinded him. They took him to a prison in Gaza, where the once mighty hero was forced to do the hard work of grinding grain like a common animal. It was a sad and humbling time for Samson. But as the days and weeks went by, something began to happen. Samson's hair, the symbol of his promise, began to grow back. And as his hair grew, Samson began to pray. He talked to God and realized his mistake. He had been proud and foolish, trusting in his own strength and forgetting the one who gave it to him. One day, the Philistines held a great festival to celebrate their victory over Samson. Thousands of them gathered in a huge temple. They brought Samson out to make fun of him. "Samson, now blind," asked the servant leading him. "Let me feel the pillars that support the temple so I can lean against them." With his hands on the 2 central pillars, holding up the entire roof, Samson prayed one last, powerful prayer. He said, "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please, God, strengthen me just one more time." Then, with a mighty roar, he pushed with all his might. The pillars crumbled, and the entire temple came crashing down, defeating more of his enemies in that one moment than he had in his entire life. Samson had made a big mistake, but in the end, he returned to God, and God used him one last time to fulfill his purpose. Samson's story teaches us that our true strength doesn't come from our muscles or our hair, but from our relationship with God. It's a reminder to be careful who we trust and to always keep our promises, especially the ones we make to him. Thank you so much for joining me on this amazing adventure today. I hope you enjoyed the story of Samson and Delilah. If you did, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you won't miss our next story time. Until then, stay curious and keep shining. Bye for now.